just count on you. Yeah. You honor your word. You never have to repent. 'Cause you'll never go against what you say. Yeah. You said it, we believe it. It's your own man. Oh, if you said, you're up. Last time. If you said it, we believe it. You're up, man. And I am what I am. 'Cause the great I am speaks over me. And I am what I am. 'Cause the great I am said he speaks over me. What you say is true. You are real to me. I've known it from the start. And there's no space between the heavens and my heart. You are near to me. I've never been too far. Hey. And in the in-between, you brought heaven to life. 'Cause when the storm on the ocean and the violent wind is the glory, oh, take me back, take me back. Hey, oh, take me back, take me back. Hey, oh, take me. I wanna go, oh, take me back to my first love, when it was all simple and loving was easy, when it was all simple and trusting was easy, when it was all simple and loving was easy, when it was all simple, hey, and trusting was easy, when it was all simple and loving was easy, when it was all simple and trusting was easy, hey, when it was all simple and loving was easy, when it was all simple and trusting was easy, when it was all simple and loving was easy, when it was all simple and trusting was easy. Take me back to the start, God, where you won my heart. How could I ever forget? Hey, no, I will never forget. Hey, no, I will never forget. The night you saved me, I will never. The night you healed me. The night you freed me.
So everybody, we're going to enter into worship. We're going to leave with worship. So right now, cast everything aside. All your situations, your burdens, your problems, and give Jesus all the glory and all the praise. Get your worship on.
This is your favorite DJ, DJ Lebs.
The Uplift Mix with DJ Lebs, the Activator.
Karibuni, wenye wako ndani, and those who are outside, get in, we start. The others will find us going on. If you could occupy the front seats, please. It will be nice. They are not reserved for anyone, they are for you. Occupy these seats here, please. When you occupy Pandele, please come here. Kindly. So we are going to start, and the others will find us going on. The Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs will be here to open the event for us, but you will find us proceeding, since we know that some people will leave for class at some point. And I take this opportunity to welcome you, those who are present, class reps and leaders of the USA government, and leaders of the religious groups, and our speaker, whom I will introduce at some point. But now I want to welcome Dr. Charles Onyari to do the opening prayer for us.
Good morning. Bwana asifiwe. Assalamu alaikum. Kwa wale ambao hamnijui, mimi naitwa Dr. Charles Nyambani Onyari. Ni mkufunzi katika School of Agriculture, and I'm also the director of university examinations. So at the end of the day, most of your exams come to my place. And we also manage the exams to ensure that you have them at the right time. Just before I pray, I wanted to mention something, that we're here for a training on guidance and empowerment. In other words, we do not have enough knowledge and skills that we require to live as human beings. So what happens is that then God uses other people to come and show us not just the right way, but the correct way of following that route. And that's why we talk about the guidance and the empowerment. That we empower you so that you become a wholesome person who is well-rounded, that you become a better person, not just for yourself, but for your family and the community at large. In the Quran chapter 9, 123, we are told that we need to study and teach. And that is why when we study and teach, then it means that there are others who would study and then come and teach us. That's why I talked of other people coming to give us guidance as we empower ourselves to live a better life. Let's pray. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير الضالين. Amen. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thine aid do we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those to whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, and those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. Amen.
So at this point, I would like to introduce the members of the chaplaincy committee who organized the event. On your feet, wherever you are, members of the chaplaincy committee. Yes. They can come here and say their names. Even you, director, although you are here, you are a member in a certain capacity.
Good morning again. As I said earlier, my name is Dr. Charles Nyambani Onyari. Most people don't know my Muslim name. I'm called Hamza. Welcome.
The Lord is good all the time. I'm Kamau David, Chairperson SDA.
God is good. I am Victor Onyango, Chairperson YCS.
Member coming.
Assalamu alaikum. God is good. Good and all time. Thank you. My name is Ibrahim Ahmed Barre. I'm the Muslim chairperson.
Thank you very much, Karibu. And sometimes I talk and people tell me I forgot to say my name. I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Nkari, the University Chaplain, and the Chair of the Chaplaincy Committee. Those who are outside, please, you are welcome to be in. This seminar is for all students, so you can come in and leave at a time when you have a class, if you do have one. I want to welcome you once again and to appreciate your presence here. In this forum, we also have the USA government. Is any of the USA officials here? Yes, Vice Chair, come and greet us. You're also a member of the Chaplaincy Committee. And introduce other USA government officials if they are here.
All protocols observed. Good morning. My name is Anastasia Chalo, and I'm the USA Vice Chairperson. I'm here representing my chair. He's in another meeting, but he'll be joining us soon. I'm not sure whether we have the USA government here, but I can see some of the delegates. Please stand up. Thank you. We have some USA, okay, the department representatives. We have, he represents the Department of Physical Sciences. Duncan Kalibo. He represents the Department of Business and Economics. Ken Jine. He represents the Department of Business. Onesmus Kalulu. And finally, he represents the Department of CIT, Alan Davis. Thank you, and I hope you're going to get the best out of this.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We as a government. This training is supposed to train you so that you can be able to hold the hand of another colleague when they are in need. And we have a very competent facilitator with us by the name Captain Reverend Isaac Mbogo Rukongo. It is not his first time in the University of Embu. He facilitated for us the first event of this nature in 2019. He is a trained church minister with the Anglican Church. He holds a Bachelor of Divinity and a Master of Theology from St. Paul's University, and currently he is pursuing a PhD in Religious Studies with Chuka University. He is an officer of the Kenyan Defense Forces, working as a chaplain of the Anglican Church with the forces, and he is an ordained priest. He has passion about youth and the students, and also the military persons. He is married to Monica Wairimu Mbogo, and they are blessed with 2 children, Gloria Wanja and Melki Macharia Mbogo. So I've known him for some time as we served in the ministry before transiting to institutional chaplains. And so he is a man I have a lot of confidence with in as far as the topic of our day is concerned. And I trust that you are going to benefit to the maximum. We could not get a better person than him as far as this area is concerned. So, Mchungaji, karibu, and may God use you to sharpen these leaders who are here so that they can go and be used of him to assist the students when they face various predicaments as they walk the journey of academia in the university, and as they also live their social life, because you know these two go together. To applaud as he comes, please. Thank you. The event is going to be both physical and virtual. That's why the IT team is here, and I also recognize them.
Thank you so much, Chair, the Reverend Dr. Gary, Director and the patron, the Muslims patron, all the leaders present hearing, and all the students. Good morning. Good morning. It's not cold, it's not that cold today. Sioni kama kuna baridi sana. I've been introduced and I feel so much honored and humbled to stand before you this morning so that we can sharpen one another on matters campus life and, can you help me, campus life and relationships. Before I even get to my next slide, I want us to get to Proverbs 27, verse 17. Proverbs 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So for the ladies here, today, you actually qualify to be called also a man. Because the context of that text was actually masculine, because it was men's work to sharpen tools for trade. It was not women's responsibility to do that. It was actually the men. And that's why Solomon, when he speaks about as iron sharpens an iron, so a man sharpens another. But that man today is not just the man as we know him, the male gender, but is any person who can help another, as Chaplain Chair has rightly put it. And so we are here to sharpen. I don't claim to have monopoly of knowledge on this topic. In fact, some of you sit and hear, you have more nuggets on these matters than I presume to have. Because in your various experiences, your encounters, some of the things that we will be discussing, perhaps you have faced them head-on. You have them at your fingertips. Now, coming back to what we have here, I begin by saying campus life, that student must brace the confidence. Student must brace the confidence of someone called, are we in the next slide? I hope tunafuatana. Okay, there is a clip that has been going viral, and everybody has been speaking about don't run, don't run, don't run. Hello? But I came to submit to us that as students, at times, we need to brace the confidence of this guy and keep running from our dream killers. You came to this campus with a dream, and you came to pursue a dream. But I don't want to scare you. There are so many dream killers, and they are running after you, telling you don't run, don't run, don't run. But you need to have the confidence of this guy and keep running. Otherwise, if they catch up with you, they will kill your dream, they will kill your destiny, and you may find yourself saying, I wish I knew. Life in campus is a complex reality. It's a complex reality.
that every student must navigate. So there's a lot of complexities. No, there are a lot of issues that you must navigate. But even before you talk about navigating these issues, I know, Mike, are we together, please? Somebody is getting anacho nyuma. I'm in the next slide because I want to finish even before you think I've started. So I've said that there's a lot of issues that happen in campus, and you have to navigate them. You have to navigate them. There is what we call freedom. And that in campus, students have their freedom. You too have your freedom. I'm not even surprised that there are those who know they are supposed to be here and they're just doing nothing, and perhaps they're trying to catch up because they enjoy their freedom. Hello? Hello? Hey, are you getting me there? Si tuna freedom. Freedom iko. Now that is why tunasema sisi tuko na IDs. Yeah? We have our national IDs. Hata kama umepata 3 months ago. Because I know in campus, especially youth, the first years. I remember when I graduated from high school, I was barely 17 years. I was actually 17 years. So I had to wait for almost a year before, not a year, almost half a year, because I think I took my ID around June after I had cleared my high school. So I was a teen. And I know there are some here who also, if you are in first years and you've come, you are a teenager. You are 19 years old. You are not yet even 20, but you have your national ID. You are an adult. And you've been waiting for this. Are you here? Are you here? Yes. Wengine we are only 3, hata hatuja bado tunaangalia ID unaona kama hii ni yangu, because you've been waiting for it, but you have it. You've got your freedom. But you know, too much freedom is dangerous. If you can have too much freedom, I know my IT guy unaachwa nyuma. Freedom mingi sana huwa inaharibu. You need to have ways to manage that freedom. And even as you manage that freedom that you have, now that you've come into this great institution, you will have 2 types of lives here. Maisha mara mbili. In high school, kuna yenye tulikuwa tunasema co-curricular activities. Yes, here you'll still have non-academic programs, the non-academic life. But that is not what brought you here. Do you have somebody who came here so that you can learn how to play soccer, how you can do football, how you can go for clubs and movements? No. Even me those years when I was joining campus, I went there purely and purposely to pursue my academic dream. And therefore the academic life, the life inside the lecture hall, that is the main reason why you are here. If you can see some of those clips there, the next one, the next clip. One of that student there is asking, "Yo nimemalizana nayo, unajua nimeona time inaisha." You can see that is in a lecture hall, and there's a student there who is almost like, "Hii kitu ni kama hata I'm just getting bored. When will this lecture end? Itaisha lini?" And you see another one, he's busy on phone, chatting. These gadgets. Ako tu hapa. I will not be surprised there's some here. I think ananisikiza, lakini yeye ako zake tu, anaangalia simu, anachat. And sometimes it happens because life inside the lecture hall, at times it is seen to be boring. They'll say it is boring, you know, huyo lekia na bo, sijui ana vibe, ajui kuconnect, ajui kurelate. Hii acha tuishe, wengine hata wana Skype. Because as you have noted, how old are you in campus? How old are you? How many months are you in campus? How old are you in campus? 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Who are here for their first year? Kama you are here for your first years. Inua tu mkono, hakuna kuvictimize, yes. Hey, hawa sasa, nyao wawili tu. Najua tuko wengi. But perhaps you've heard the third years and the fourth years wakisema, it's full of lectures. You have seen that. Lectures after lectures, assignment, discussions ziko mingi. There are a lot of cuts, there are a lot of rats, there are a lot of, and sometimes you find yourself doing even the receipts. Hello? The first years, please. Make it your priority that mimi sitawahi kalia receipt. Ati nimeenda nimeanguka. Na alafu sasa naambiwa, I have to go and do a receipt because I can't graduate. And or maybe you have gone too wayward, you missed even the exam time and you are out there doing other non-academic activities, and now you have to do a receipt. Sometimes we even have the special and supplementaries. But I came to submit to the first years and the second years, you can still complete campus without having to sit for a receipt, without having to redo, if you get your priorities right. And for the first years, this is your time. Perhaps what I'm saying, it may make more sense to the freshers than those who are already, wamekaa hapa hata wanaweza simama hapa waniambie, by the way, hiyo, I have the best classical example to give because you've been here for 3 years. You've been here for 4 years. But for the freshers, please don't lose sight of the antelope because of a dashing squirrel. I wish I can even say it louder to the freshers and the finalists. You have labored, you have done a lot, you have sacrificed, first year, second year, third year, and then when you are just in your final lap, a squirrel dashes, and then you forget you are chasing the antelope, and then you begin to chase the squirrel. There's of course that proverbial hunter. Yeye alikuwa ameenda kutafuta antelope, mnyama mkubwa, familia ilikuwa na njaa. Maybe ni kama saizi huko tunaambiwa people are dying. And this hunter wanted to get a game that would benefit his entire family. And then because he has stayed for long without getting or catching anything, then the antelope ilikuwa imepasua sana, ikaingia kwa kichaka. And then he saw a squirrel. And he had only one arrow left because they had thrown so many. And this poor hunter, instead of concentrating on the antelope and trying to locate it in the thicket, he wasted his final arrow on the squirrel. Squirrel yenye ingemtoshelesha jaa yeye mwenyewe. So please, you must remain focused. That is on the academics. It is the reason you are here. You do not come here to date. You do not come here to know how to do salsa. You do not come here to know, those things are good. Co-curriculum activities, like you call them in high school, which I said is non-academic life. And that is where I am now. That yes, even in campus life, we have the non-academic life. Life outside lecture hall. Life outside lecture hall, I'm using that, which is saying to be fun, exciting, you know, a lot of fun, a lot of fight, but it is quite challenging. I asked one student, and this is what she told me. You know what, Percy? Outside lecture halls, campus life is interestingly eventous. It is interestingly eventous. There are so many events which are so interesting, and that I want to run from one event to another. And sometimes when you are doing that, you find yourself covered with a lot of mud, a lot of mistakes, like this driver. If you could have seen it clearer, this guy is driving, and the only part which he can see clearly, which can be seen, it is that mirror, the front mirror, that one, the what do we call it? Yes, the windscreen. And he kept on moving the wipers because he really want to focus, he want to get where he's supposed to be. But sometimes I'm saying inside campus life, it is intensely infectious. You can lose it on your academic life. just because of the non-academic life. Is it not said in Kenya, and I don't want to be political, but we have heard of students who don't want to graduate, and especially when they get in the politics of the universities. Hello? Hello? Am I talking? Yeah, we know some. They don't want to graduate because they have gotten the politics of the universities, and when they are just to graduate, they look for another course because wao tu wamesema sasa maisha ni politics. And sometimes some of them, they don't even end up well because the moment they graduate, they get themselves into a lot of mud, and before they tidy themselves, they have lost a lot of energy. Please, make sure you don't lose the focus. I know we are going together in the next slide that there is a clip there. Kuna hiyo nimemalizana nayo. Yes. Now, this is why they say it is interestingly eventures. Some people are smiling. You can see that, you know, I don't want to say whether they are chicks, they are dudes, but you can see, because today is squeezy, watu hata wataki kujua kama is she a girl like me, or is she a boy like me, but you find even they're holding tighter. Boys to boys are holding tighter. Girls and girls are holding tighter. Niendelee ama niendelee? This is happening outside the lecture halls. Maisha hapa campus. But this life is marked with clubs, like I said, the movement, the sports activities. But we have religious programs. The religious programs. Now, yes, I'm a reverend, but I must sound a warning. Don't become a fanatic. We have students who come to the university very bright, very focused, but in the name of religiosity, they lose themselves. They are in prayers and fasting every day. They are in vigils and keshas. They are in Bible studies. They become religious fanatics, and I don't talk to the other issue of the radicalization. It is even happening in universities. And radicalization is not just on one aspect. It's not in one religious brand. You can even be a Christian and a radicalized Christian. You can be a Buddhist and become a radicalized Buddhist. But of course, what people know much is about the Islam. Where I am currently, Daktari, I am in Wajir. As Daktari said, I'm working with the military. And this a dream I had 202. And I applied, myself to join cadet school. I've just shared with the DFC, and was briefing me that he had an opportunity to write some of the programs that cadets are trained. They train at KU. And that's the dream I had, and I tried in 202, not in 202, 204, because I was passionate about working with forces. But now I joined recently, and I've seen another, another very good and disciplined life, whereby I was saying, I'm in Wajir, I am a referent, a Christian referent, but most of the troops, the men that I have, they're actually Muslims. And I must relate with them, talk to them, help them, and we move forward. But I thank God we've just been given another chaplain who is joining me. But he's still a Roman Catholic chaplain. We still don't have an imam. But we have the troops, the majority in Wajir, if you know where Wajir is. Majority we have there. But what I'm saying in terms of religious programs, that is where I was. let us not lose the sanity in the name of religious programs. One day I was in a youth conference and I was speaking about new religious movement. It was a regional youth conference and we had over 3,000 youths, and they even challenged me, now, Percy, why don't you try to help us and give us examples of those new religious movements which are very, very, we should be keen and we should be careful. But in here, I may not tell you this is it, because you are adults. You have your IDs. And for sure, you can be able to tell between black and white. But I'm saying, let us not lose. That is part of life outside the lecture halls. Of course, we have all these other things, the dates, the parties, and the raves. I'm speaking that for the first year, so that you know what you are and what you've already got yourself into. You even what we used to call the freshers' night. I don't know whether you've gone through the freshers' night here. You come Mbando ziko. In our times, tulikuwa tuna freshers' night. Zilikuwa. Hapa najua kuna Java karibu sana. You know, Friday Javas. Maybe wase wanaenda Java pale. Kujivijari. There are those I said. And sometimes there are students who will be in night parties and their lives become what we say party after party. In the next clip, you can see some of the girls there dancing. And I didn't want to, those are some of the campus girls and they are enjoying themselves. Do you think they are taking water and soda? If you look clearly, kuna moja ameshikilia kitu. Don't be deceived. Hiyo sio maji, hiyo sio sonda. Hizo ni zile zingine. Hello? And sometimes you've heard of cases, perhaps not here, of girls who've been drugged. And after drugged, what happens? Mnataka niwaambie? You should tell me. You've had your sisters and your brothers. Because we say it, as iron sharpens iron, you are each other's keeper. Others have been drugged, others have been raped, others have been, and after that, we shall see some of the effects of these things. And so don't succumb to the pressure of attending all these events in campuses, because there are so many. Don't succumb to that pressure. Because dragging yourself into every event will only end up robbing you the fun of that event. You must have principles. You must have principles. What are my principles? What do I stand for? What do I stand for? And in some cases, like we said, you must act like the famous. Hello? Sometimes you must act like the what? That Morive guy, mira sijui jamaa alifanya nini, but you have seen. People wamekam na vitu mingi sana to explain about don't run Morive. But I'm here telling you, sometimes you just need to run away. You just need, tell your neighbor, sometimes you need to run away. Yeah, just be like this Morive. Even in Kikwetu, in one of the Chinese language of our home, tulikuwa tunasema kari uoya keno kagira nyina kari kagima. You know, that's a Chinese from Embu community. You know, a coward boy goes back to his parents stronger and healthy. But yule mwingine anajifanya yeye ni kujua, yeye ni kichwa, yeye ni mambo yote. He goes home bruised, with limbs, with fractures, because he engaged himself in all those things. So please, afadhali ukue huyu jamaa, afadhali ukue Morive and just run away. In the next clip, I have some students, and I presume these students are coming from a very exciting event. Where do you think they're coming from? Wanakaa kama wanatoka wapi? Hello at the back. Tuko pamoja? Can you see that picture? Huh? Someone told me they are like coupling, but they look happy. Yeah? They look happy. It appears they are coming from a good place. I know you're remembering where you are planning to take your friend out. So leo ni Friday. Leo ni Friday, eh? Some of you have been promised dates. Others have been promised wataenda kumbaiwa mzinga. Others been promised wanapelekwa not even Embu. Wanapelekwa zini Kambundunda ama ni wapi wanaenda siku hizi. But you have to be very careful on the friends that you hang out with. Can we avoid relationships in campus? That's about campus life. I want to finish on just getting back now deeper into relationships, because I know time is really gone. Campus life is relational. It is relational. It's purely relational. You need one form of a relationship or the other. And we also need to know that there are negative relationships. You can get yourself into a negative relationship and use negative energy and you destroy one another and you become harmful and toxic to one another. And sometimes in the category of these negative, destructive, they are what I'm calling the romantic relationships. We have them in campus. And in these romantic relationships, you are most likely to come across the heterosexuals. By the way, I'm one of them. I'm a heterosexual. Daktari said I'm married. Yes, I want to confirm I'm married to one wife who is a female. Hello? I'm married to one wife who is a female. I'm a heterosexual. Na nimetosheka na huyo moja. So hata kama kuna single ladies hapa wanaona ni kama pete sijakuja nayo, usianze kuona kumbe huyo ni kajamaa tu kadogo. I'm married. I have two children. But I know you have even lecturers who are singles. And I know a friend who even married his student. That's a story of another day. But here, you're also going to come across, and it will not be a surprise, when you find others who are not heterosexuals. They want to be in romantic relationships, but they are in homosexual, the gay, the bisexual students. Tell your neighbor, stop playing with fire. I'm in the next slide. Stop playing with fire. Stop playing with fire. The next one. Tuko nyuma. Stop playing with fire. This is because cases of lesbianism and sodomy are on the rise today. If they are happening in high school, why should we assume that they are not happening in campuses? If they are happening in primary boarding schools, where boys says there was someone sodomized by fellow boys, should we assume that in our hostels and in our rooms there, that these things are not happening? If they are happening in girls' schools where young kids, they're engaging in lesbianism relationship, what about those who want to explore, their sexuality, and now they're adults? So don't be surprised if you come across or you hear. But I came to tell you today, these are unnatural acts, and we should not even entertain such. I was listening to one medic, a scientist, and he was saying, no, these are not orientations. Because some was saying, these are hereditary, they are genetics. I am oriented to be a gay. I am oriented to be a lesbianism, to be a lely. What do you think? Are there people who are born to be gays? You have minds. Please go and do more research. But that scientist, that medic was saying, no. All these are social orientations and psychological dysfunctions. And people have been socialized to think that because if I hang out with Kamau and I am Steve, and I am seen with Steve all the time, even at night, my parents would be like, kijana wangu hata ananga mambo na mademu, hata ana shughuli. If I am a guy and I'm always hanging out with Mary and I'm Jane, even going to our hostel, tunalala na kitanda moja, tunaenda kwetu. Nobody will suspect me because I don't engage with a man. I'm always with a girl. And at the end, these things are happening. Now, I can use a low tone here. Not long ago, I was in a forum. And in this forum, one of the neighbors, ni mzee ambaye ako na hostel upande ule mwingine. And I'm sorry to use this because it was in a public gathering. In fact, ilikuwa mazishi, let me be very honest. And the one who went past, alikuwa na mtoto form 2. So this man, when he spoke, akaanza kusema, he was reading from, he said 2 Timothy chapter 3. Hapo chini zinaenda zote. And then he was saying, you know what? I'm even shocked with what is happening. Na akaanza address the high school boys and girls. Akaambia nyinyi mkienda campus, please, I plead with you. Don't go and be like what I am seeing. And he mentioned this institution. He's just a neighbor. So sijui ni nani wanakaanga upande. Sitaki kusema ni upande mgani. But alikuwa anasema kama mzazi akiwa ni mzee wa over 50 years, and he was saying the way he's seeing the student girls and boys behave kwa hiyo barabara, wakishikana hata usiku wanasimama mahali ni kama tu anacheza na moto. And was telling these girls and these boys, please, tumewatuma shule mkasome. We have not sent you to school to explore on even those unnatural acts. Hello? Ama kuna mtu amekuja hapa ku-explore? We have come here to study. But these things are happening. Please, mind your friend. Mind your company. Huh? Don't allow your person or your friend. There's this issue of the LGBTQ. The LGBTQ question and agenda, and even nations of the world, including some in Africa, they are really passing these bills and they're saying, ni haki yao pia kuangaliwa mzuri. Mpaka siku ingine niliona one of the cleric, mtoto wa Desmond Tutu. Who knows Desmond Tutu, the South Africa, the guy was very vocal in apartheid and wakafanya mambo mingi na Archbishop, mtoto wake. Na sababu yeye ana hold into this, alikuwa amesema anaenda ku-officiate kufanya mbario ya one of the royals. Lakini watu wakakataa, wakamwambia hapana, wewe tunajua msimamo wako ni huu na huu. Because where she comes from, it is allowed. And sometimes when people get so elite, na wamesoma sana, hii masomo saa zingine inakoroga na inaharibu akili. So you are here to graduate with your degree with first class, but please don't allow that intelligence to come in between you and your morality, and now uanze kuona ni kama hii mambo ni sawa. See, I am free to use my body. I am free to do anything, you know. Somebody was saying, even in Africa, hakuna hii jina ya hii mambo inaendea. In Africa, hakuna jina kama homosexual. It is a long sentence kuelezea. In most of the cultures, inaelezea wanaume ambao wanalala na wanaume. Translate that one into your mother tongue, or go and research. There is no single one that explains lesbianism or homosexuality. But hii ingine, heterosexuality, when a man and a woman are having sex, I am sure you have 1,000 of ones in your language that can explain a sex between a man and a woman. Ukweli ama ukweli? Niwaambia moja ya kwetu. I tell you one. I know some people are laughing, but yesterday I told somebody that you meet me somewhere, and then when I pronounced that, the guy just laughed. Alicheka sana akaniuliza, what are you saying, Reverend? Kumbe hakusikia vizuri vile nilisema. Alisikia namwambie tupatane mahali ambapo panafanya nywangwa hiyo kitendo. Because in that place, you just miss one pronunciation and you name the other one. But I'm saying, even in Africa, these things were not here. Na hata wanyama, they don't do things, but among young people, there's debate. Na hii mambo inakuja. And it's an ever-hitting phenomenon. But of course, there are positive and constructive relationships you can enter into. For example, you need to relate well with your lecturers. I have never seen a student who passed well who earned an attitude towards the lecturer, a negative attitude. You can never have a negative attitude to your lecturer and you are relating well with your lecturer. Ikuwe tu ni purely academic. You need to relate with your lecturer as well. The respect they deserve. If she is a woman, give her the respect. If she's a man, he is a man, give her the respect. But also respect the admin. Whether the top admin or even the support staff, the librarians, everybody, you have to relate with them and you have to relate well. But of course, there is the peers, the comrades. You also need to relate with them. Not in romantic, not in those sexual things, but you need to relate because I said life in campus is relational. Tell your neighbor that. In campus, life is relational. Yes, I need you, you need me. But of course, there are friends with benefits. Are we there? Friends with benefits, yes. You surely need these friends. But you have to be very careful when you have a friend who want to get benefits and benefits from you. Ambia mwenzako kaa randa utanaswa. Mwambie vizuri kaa randa utanaswa. Wengine wamenaswa, wamenasika. Na wengine, so friends define us. Watch on those besties. Au unasema. Au mabesties. Sitaki kwenda hapo sana, lakini najua mko nao. Sometimes they can be very dangerous. Show me your friends and I'll show you. Nionyeshe marafiki zako na nitakuonyesha the kind of person you are. You can't hang out with addicts and then where to come to sober. Kila wakati unaenda na watu wanaona mapons, kila wakati wamejaza pons kwa simu zao. And they're always doing those dirty things. You can't be relating wala watu wa kunyonga. You know, kuna wase siku hizi wananyonga sana. Every time where unakaa tuna watu wa kunyonga na wanaongea story, hey man, si jana mimi nilikanyonga. By the way, daktari unajua kunyonga Director. Huwezi kuwa every time mkikaa mnasema, hey man, si jana nilikanyonga. And then wewe si mtu wa kunyonga. No. You just go with them. You flock with them. So you have to be very careful. Watakunasa. They will influence you. And a very classical example, even in our dressings. The way we dress. At times we are influenced by our friends, and especially the girls. Umeona mtu amevaa kikitu na unachukua tu. Unaona hao jamaa so kama hao watu ukiangalia hivi, kuna ka influence fulani. They have a theme. They have a common theme. Hello? In their dressing, they have a theme. You can tell it. Ama wherever they are going, they have chosen, they have decided, they have influenced one another. So who influences you? So friends, comrades can either scavenge on you or save you. They can either break your life or build your life. Tell your neighbor, choose wisely. I finished by coming back again to romance and dating in campus. Because I must finish. Romance and dating in campus. So I want to ask a question. Is it happening? Is it real? Or is it a myth? Is it real or is it a myth? It's real. Haya. Is it right to date a comrade? When first year bana unakatia ka first year kezako, when third year unatafuta ka first year? Is it right even to date a lecturer? Or a lecturer to date you? Hii maneno hii. Ama mimi nimekuja na zangu. Ni ukweli. So perhaps when we come to the Q&A, we'll be able to explore that. But these are tricky things and you have to be very careful. Of course, you can have a healthy date in campus. Hello? Can you have a healthy date in campus? A healthy date. You can have it. Those guys, they have a healthy date. But being in a dating romantic relationship is a very big responsibility, and the demands of committing to one person can be draining on your time. That's according to Paul. It will drain your time, your emotional energy, your mental energy. You are always with this person. And one of the advice Paul gives is not to be in a romantic relationship while in campus. Should I give such an advice to us? Yes. This is what he gives. You can take it also. Don't be in a romantic relationship in campus. Why? Guess what? Umeenda kwa hiyo date. Tunamalizia, my friend. Tunaenda mbio. Guess what? Huyo ni mrembo amepelekwa wapi? Waterfalls. Naona manzi anakumbuka, ashaenda hiyo place. Huu mrembo anapewa mambo mingi. Ingine ni tuongo, sugar coated. I'll buy you a chopper. I'll be flying you to Seychelles. I'll be doing all these things. And the man perhaps is interested in one main thing. Hello? Nitoboe ama nisitoboe? Anakuambia mambo mingi, but he want to see what is it that you are carrying. And it can come with so many things. I don't want to be very naughty, but somebody was telling us somewhere before when we were young, we were in a forum in campus. I did my bachelor's at St. Paul's. So we had a program at Church House, Nairobi. And he was telling the ladies, usidanganyike. Most of these men, if not all, when they take you out and they buy you nice things, there is only one thing they need from you. Na aliwaambia, this man just want to see what is in between your legs. And this man want to excavate you and to dig and to mine you. And even when he comes to dig and mine you and finds that somebody had already been there. Hello? Hamtaki niseme hiyo, ni sawa tu. When he finds somebody has already been there, chances are that, please, when you are in a dating relationship in campus, you spend a lot of emotional energy and you may have a lot of stresses. Because players are many. There's that kind of topic, kamekato. Players are many. You will cheat on someone. You will be cheated on. You will struggle to make it work. But wakati unaona ni kama inaendelea kuiva, you break up. Just before graduation, mse amepita na mwingine. Labda hata ni bestie, amepita na mtu wako. Perhaps our DVC would confirm to us because yeye anajua kuna experience mingi sana kwa universities. Not many people who dated in campus ended up or are together today living as a husband and wife. Majority of those relationships break up. They don't end up into marriage. Still, there's a lot of manipulations and emotional baggage. Of course, sometimes you may get into what we are calling the relationships of death. In campuses, we have relationships of death. Iko hapo juu kidogo imekatwa. Sometimes what is sweet ferments. Do you know that? Sweet ferment. Sukari na ferment inakuwa sawa. You may be in a sweet romantic relationship and then it ferments even before you realize. Inaanza kukua sawa, inakuwa kitu bitter. And then before you realize, there are manners all over. I don't want to mention the names, but we have had students who were vandalized and murdered and killed. And when investigations were done, nikale kaupendo kamekuwa kachungu. And sometimes these murders or these deaths are caused by suicides. Mimi hawezi nicheza hivyo bana. No. In fact, I have dated this girl for this long. Then nimeenda tu kumbe amepata mbabas. Sasa ndiye ameenda na yeye, hello? Wababas pia wanakuja kuwapea kompe. And then you find mbabas ndiye amemchukua. And this guy hata kalon, help, pesa yake na pocket. Yeye anapeleka kwa hiyo manzi, hiyo day. So inafika mahali, you feel like no. You even feel like you want to terminate the life of this girl and commit suicide. We've had students committing suicide. And sometimes when things are being investigated, you find inarudi kwa relationships. Of course, there are abortions. Sometimes this may not be considered as death. But how many girls have we had in campus? They have committed murder. They have killed innocent babies because I have been played on. Na already niko na mimba, nitadu. In fact, it is shameful to carry this pregnancy. It is stigmatizing. You are stigmatized even by your fellow friends. Wacha siku hizi umeona wasichana siku hizi wakipata mimba wanapost mapicha kila mahali, mabebe bumps nini nini. Ama mjaona hiyo trend? Hata wamama wameolewa kitambo akikuwa na mimba, hakuwa anataka kutokea sana. Ask them. It was not something that unataka, you just conceive, naweka mpaka wakati mtoto anaza. Even in these baby showers they are coming. Some of these things are not even very, very good. You attract a lot of jealousy and malicious and evil spirits, even some kind of demonic things comes. Unafikiria mtu anafurahia akiguza kabebe bam, kumbe anakuja na vitu zake. We have had cases of people who are even sacrificing unborn babies of their friends. Amekuja baby shower, unafikiria amekuja kufurahia, kale kanguo amekuja nako kumbe kametengenezwa, kamevanywa vitendo. And then we realize, hey, I got a stillbirth. What happened? And I've been all through good. Anyway, all these things. But of course, I was talking of the deaths that come through relationships. People are bought. Ama si nyinyi mna finance by the men. Dema akikuja kikwambia, kwanza wa men ndio sana sana wanasema hii lazima ufanye nini? Na ana finance. These things are happening. But we say from the one go, don't be like them. Balancing your life. You know, you need to balance your life. Don't graduate with crushed wombs. Don't graduate with unwanted pregnancies. Rejected babies. They are those who are good. They will carry it to term. But by moment una graduate, huyu mtoto hata babake alimkataa, hata wewe utaki kumuona. And how do you expect this child now to cope up with life when she was rejected, he was rejected kitambo because of what happened? Of course, some would even go into alcoholism now when the relationship has not worked. Do you know wanaume wengi, young men, they are getting into drugs, they are getting to alcoholism, they become addicts of what I said, masturbation. Utaki sasa mambo ya madem tena, wewe hata unasema sasa sitaki madem, nataka kujaribu wanaume, nataka kufungua maboots, you know all those things because that one turned sour. Hello? Hey, situmalize jameni. And I said, at times why advise not to date romantically, because sometimes these failed marriage, these failed relationships, they are recipe. They are recipe for failure in the future relationships. It's like you're preparing a recipe. Now every time ukijaribu kuingia into relationship, inaanguka. We have dysfunctional families. Marriages are breaking from left, right, and center. And sometimes it's because of the contracts that young people entered into when they were in campus, or young people outside there. And they formed so many. So by the moment you get into your person, you have broken so many contracts. I told some girls the other day, even biblically, virginity is highly treasured. It's highly treasured. Highly treasured. Wacha siku hizi, in fact, if I was to ask whether we have a virgin in this hall, hata hawezi inua mikono because wataangaliwa, kwani wewe hujui maisha? Imekuwa ni kama old fashioned to be sexually pure. But even in the wisdom of God, when the virginity, the marriage is a covenant, the blood is shed, when the virginity is broken, and it binds the man and the woman together into a long-lasting covenant until death do us part. But at times you find many of the marriages we are officiating as priests today, they were broken many times ago. And now they come in to be prayed for, but there are consequences. Wanaendelea tu. God will forgive you, but there are some consequences that will carry on. Hello? So let's not prepare a recipe for failure in our future marriages and our families. Some would say, yes, I need to be in this relationship because it is beneficial. Yes, nitapelekwa free dates, nitapewa gifts, nitapewa sponsor, nitapelekwa tour nje, and all of these things. But are they really worthy the sacrifice? Do you really want to sacrifice your dream, your destiny, because of things that you can wait and handle them properly when you are even very mature and principled? We need a Joseph's generation. In the Genesis 39, we find the story of Joseph, who despite all the approaches of ule mumamas. Hello? Najua nisema wababas, ni kama wamamas pia wafanye hii maneno. Kuna vijana najua wanatongozwa na wamamas. In one of the universities, there were two guys who stopped a prando. na walipochunguliwa wakaona kuna mumama hapo, wakaingia. Walikuwa wanajua sasa kameiva kameimana, because walikuwa wamezoea hiyo maneno, na sio mbali. It's across the other county, lakini si hapa Embu, across that other county. Wakapewa lift alongside that highway. I don't tell you what happened, but they learned their life lessons. So this Joseph said no to these mumamas. With all their wealth she had, the Harriers and the Prandos, the Wamamas have, you young men, you have to say put. Na unasema mimi, I want to work for my dream car. I want to work for my future. I don't want to take shortcuts. I've said that because before tunaona ni kama ladies studio wanakuwa, but even today we have, that is happening. We also need to have ladies and girls like the Marys. If Jesus was to be born today, I know we have our Muslims brothers here, and they also respect that the birth of Isa. If Jesus was to be born today, would you be found to carry this baby Jesus? Because umejiweka vizuri. So I've spent a lot of time on relationships and sexuality matters, because even the devil knows that destroying humanity, number one, target sexuality. Even the forces of the world, the patterns of the world themselves, target the body. And that's why in Romans chapter 12, verse 1-2, Paul says, offer your bodies as pure and living sacrifice. Our sexuality is housed in our bodies. And Paul says, don't conform to the patterns. There are so many patterns, like we have said. And I know you can even mention so many. But don't be conformed to those patterns. Tell your friend, don't be conformed to those patterns. Ama kwa lugha ya mtaa, usiingishwe box. Don't be boxed. Kuna hiyo ilikuwa hapo nyuma. Don't be boxed. Because when you are boxed, what will happen? Some of you don't know this thing, but there was a term that was trending some years ago, about urbanization. Don't be boxed. Tell your neighbor, usiboxiwe. Usiingie box. Mwambie usiingie box. Now this box is not just about relationships, even the use of drugs, recklessness, and being recruited into cults and occultism. They are rampant today. As I said on religious programs, they are rampant today. Such that there is a clip somebody was saying in Kenya, was it in Kenya or in Africa, the A students wanaenda wanafanya medicine, wanakuwa mandaktari. The B students wana proceed, wanafanya MBAs. They manage and the CEOs of those hospitals. How about the C students? Akaenda akasema, but they are the dropouts who go and become prophets and they open churches. And the medicine guys, the CEOs, the military people who get D+ and C at wanaenda huko, all of them are being controlled by the dropouts who are the prophets. I don't know whether you saw such a clip. I was saying that because of cults and cultism. Don't allow yourself to be prophesied by people who have not even prophesied on themselves. Am I speaking to someone? Do you have somebody who is born again? Praise the Lord. I'm also a person born again. But don't allow yourself to be prophesied by somebody who has not prophesied to himself. I want to rest my presentation there. And I want to invite responses before I hand over to Dr. Ngari to give us the way forward. Sasa ni wakati wa maswali, maybe a few minutes, or daktari?
Thank you, Captain Reverend Isaac Mbogo. Appreciating, please, for the nice presentation. I want to invite Elijah to come and run the question session. We can take a few questions. Maybe you can take all of them as the facilitator writes them down, then you will respond. We give the DVC an opportunity to greet us. He was supposed to open for us, but his desk is so full and he wants to go and clear some of the issues there. But it has been good because he almost started with us and he has been here through to the end. And it is also good because we are quite a good number now. Let us appreciate our DVC.
Thank you, Reverend, and thank you, everyone who is here. I think now it's getting to the afternoon, if I'm not. Is it afternoon yet, or we are still in the morning session? Yes. If your watch is saying afternoon, good afternoon to you. But if you are still in the morning session, good morning to you. So whichever time frame works for you, is the one that I'm wishing you all the best in the same. So let me start by apologizing for not having been here at the beginning. Of course, I had wanted to be here to start you off. But remember, in a journey, there is always the beginning and the end, isn't it? So if I miss to start you off, I don't miss to receive you at the end of the journey. So I'm still happy to be part of this engagement because I'm now talking to people who have been enriched. You now understand exactly why we invited you to this session. My role then was to tell you why it's important that you participate in this session. Of course, a little bit disappointing that we don't have the whole room full. You see, this is like inviting people to a party, isn't it? And then you realize that you don't have as many people to eat your food. What the Reverend has shared with us is very important for us. And allow me to put this into a little perspective so that we can really understand this, and even in the future when we get an opportunity like this, we make sure that we involve as many of our colleagues as possible. I'm telling you this because I know you'll come out of here converted, and you'll be the ones carrying the message with you to your colleagues. So let me, first of all, appreciate the Reverend for accepting to engage with us. I'm sure he told you that this is his second time he is here. He has seen this institution grow, so he can actually tell you a little bit about the University of Embu. For those of you who are here, or who have spent a very short time at the university. So thank you, Reverend, and we trust that you will come back again when we have this kind of an occasion. I also want to appreciate the chaplain, Reverend Gary, for organizing for this event, because we realize that we need a little bit of this. Now, you remember when you joined the university, we start off with you. We welcome you with a lot of excitement, fanfare, and we take you through 5 days of preparing you for the journey ahead. So this is done deliberately because we know that we have invited you to an institution. First and foremost, you know you have struggled through the high school and you have done very well. You are among the very few in the country that makes to the next level. I'm sure by now you understand that the most competitive part of your academic journey is actually that which prepares you to join the university. So it's one of the most competitive, undertakings in the life of everybody, because a very small percentage of those people actually make it to the next level. Very few people actually join the university. The other levels of education, if you look at them, there are as many. And again, with the government's effort to ensure 100% transition, it's no longer a competition. You can finish primary, join the university without much struggle. Everybody gets to join, primary, join secondary, yeah? You can join secondary almost everybody gets to join secondary. So it's not a competition. But when it comes to joining the university, very small proportion of the leavers actually make it to the university. And the statistics are there, they are out there, a very small percentage. So when you come to the university, you are labeled as the cream of society. And it is not wrong to label you like that, because you are among the very few who have actually made it through. So the first few days of your life in the university, we spend time congratulating you. Of course, even before you come to the university, many of you, there are parties at family level, some at village level, some even at a regional level, because you might be the first one to join the university from your community or from your clan, or whichever unit that you represent. So there are those of you who have brothers who have come to the university. So for you, the party is not as big. Others have actually gone ahead of you, isn't it? But there are those of you who are coming for the first time from specific villages. So the whole village celebrate, and they say, we have one of our own. So in as much as the people celebrate your coming, they expect so much from you. So understanding that expectation, when you come to the university, we invest the first 1 week of taking you through the do's and the don'ts, what the journey requires of you. Of course, what normally happens is that, unfortunately, a lot of us forget these things almost immediately. When the lectures start coming up and campus life kicks in, a lot of the things that we tell you gets forgotten. But again, I want to remind you that when you join the university, it's like a contract that we sign. That for you, we welcome you to the university. We have this team of people to take you through the journey, because it's almost like you are getting into a bus, or you are getting into a plane. And even when you get to a plane, they'll take a few minutes to tell you about the plane and what it has. So that's what we also do. And the whole idea is to prepare you for the journey ahead. For those who join the university, of course, the journey is not simple. It is full of peril, so to speak. And I think the Reverend has graphically illustrated some of the perilous encounters that you are likely to come across, isn't it? You are likely to come across very many things. And of course, in the process, a couple of us do not make it all the way. So ours is to enter into that agreement with you, that we shall be with you. We will help you through the journey until the end. But remember, it's not just an end. The end is transforming you from having been a student, a school leaver. You know, when you finish Form 4, you are just a school leaver, isn't it? They don't give you any other title other than being a school leaver, isn't it? So you are a person who has left the school, but you have nothing else to show for it. But at the university, we transform you into now a member of society, and a productive one at that, a worker, a person who can now be engaged to actually generate income for the institution that is employing you or the government. So you become a worker. So from a school leaver to a worker and a productive member of society. So that's our undertaking. So because we know that the journey is very difficult, we have had a number of things put on the way. We have prepared sort of like a menu for you that you get through. So one of the key things that, of course, we take you through is the academic journey, or the academic program that you join. So you will find that there is a very clearly worked out program of structure that will take you through in installments through the program. You must clear first year. We progress you to second year. You must meet certain requirements to be progressed, and so on and so forth. So when you succeed in the progression, then finally we certify that you have met the requirement, and we give you the power to read and do all that appertains to the degree that we shall have awarded you when you meet all these things. But it's not easy. You need to go through, you need to attend classes, you need to do all the things that are prescribed in the curriculum or the program that you have joined. But then one thing that you need to understand is that curriculum is not enough to actually make you a very productive member of society. There are other things that are equally important. Very many things that are equally important, And of course, this is where the problem actually comes in. You need to grow socially, okay? You see, you come from high school where everything is restricted. They decide whom you relate with. They decide whom you can see during break. They decide whom you're allowed to see over the weekend, and so on and so forth. So there, the teachers take responsibility. Here, you are left to decide whom you want to relate with. If you choose that this weekend you want to spend the whole day or the whole weekend partying, nobody will care about that, as long as on Monday we see you in class. So social growth is something that is important, and sometimes if you don't manage it, it actually grows you out of the academic journey. So those are the risks that you have to go through. So again, the university has a menu to support you through your social growth. That's why we have clubs, that's why we have societies, that's why we have all these other, games and sporting activities to allow you to grow socially in a controlled manner. Again, even as you do the program, whatever you study does not actually make you a worker at that. There is a process by which we make you to be an effective worker, and that is through induction to the world of work. So you'll find that we'll invite you a lot of the time for mentorship sessions. We'll invite members of the industry to come and talk to you so that you learn what it takes to survive in the world of work. Because surviving the university does not mean that you are going to survive in the world of work. So more often than not, you'll find that we invite people like the Reverend here to talk to you about social issues so that you grow socially. As I said, we want you to grow socially. So when we get invited for events like this, then you know we are trying to grow you socially, to be a very balanced member of society, to understand the multiplicity of demands that are likely to come your way, and to understand that you need to prioritize. You need to make certain sacrifices in your journey if you are going to succeed. So that's why when we invite you for these events, please understand that we are helping you to grow socially. And as I said, growing socially is as important as growing academically. Because if you are not mature socially, then you live a life that might not easily get you to that which you are getting. Yes, you can get the degree, you might get it, but you might not be the kind of person that can hold on to a job for long. So you need to grow socially. As I said also, that is not enough. Sometimes we may need to grow you spiritually. You need to grow spiritually. And that is why we have a team of spiritual leaders in the university that engage you, talk to you over the weekend, and ensure that you are getting spiritual nourishment. The chaplain has been in the forefront of this. I believe we have a chaplains committee which has all the patrons of the various religious groups in the university working together. And I'm happy to note that we've worked together very well, irrespective of which faith we subscribe to, because we believe that we all believe that we need to be spiritually enriched. Whichever kind of spiritual food that you opt for, as long as it promotes spiritual well-being, we are happy about that. And that's why we make sure that you are guided accordingly so that you make the right decisions in terms of the spiritual matters. Understanding that whatever we say, we all subscribe to an all-powerful, omnipresent, omnipotent God, isn't it? All spiritual groups, no matter the approach to their, to God, agree on certain principles of who God is, isn't it? Omnipresent, omnipotent, and so on and so forth. So because of that commonality, then we can work as a team. That is why once in a while, we organize for inter-faith services, recognizing the diversity of our faith groups and knowing that it is our strength, isn't it? And so on and so forth. So what we are saying is that growing spiritually, growing socially, growing academically are the ingredients to being a very successful member of this society. So what mine was really to encourage you to take some time, understand that all these things are necessary for your growth, because once you take care of all these things, then you'll be able to be an all-round member of society, having been given holistic education, so to speak, because that's what you need be very competitive in the world of work, which again is highly competitive. And as a university, we recognize this, and we want to be able to give our students a slight edge over the others by preparing you beyond simple academics, preparing you also in terms of how to ensure that you emerge the better person when it comes to the issues that confront you. I know the Reverend has really talked to you about matters of relationship. And I think why this is important is that this is that time in your life when relationship matters really have a toll on you. At the age that you join the university, you are now under a lot of pressure. Some of you, you know, when you get back home, after all you said about academics, they will also want to know how you are progressing in terms of your social life, isn't it? They want to know that. You see, you know, we tell you when you're in high school, they tell you don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It's an offense to have a friend. But as you get to your age, you go home and stay at home throughout, from morning to evening. You are a boy, you're not even looking at girls as they pass by. Your mother will start asking questions, isn't it? You start having issues. What is wrong? You see, you might even find that your parents will organize for a few girls to pass by, just to see how you react. That also applies to the girls, isn't it? So how to balance is what Reverend is telling you. Reverend has not told you, don't see girls. Oh, Reverend, did you tell them that? No. He has not said, you have to appreciate them. You know, if you notice, the young men who are here, you know, you can see a girl and a boy. Look at them. Just take time. Just look at the man and lady who is next to you. Okay? Where is the better finish? Which is a better product? Eh? Look at the boy and the girl next to you. I'm sure you will see one with rough edges, one which was finished well, isn't it? We are told that when God was making a woman, isn't it? Alikuwa ameangalia the man he had met, he saw a few errors, isn't it, in that product, and decided to do an improvement in the form of a partner, isn't it? So God was actually improving on this. So the young men, you are supposed to appreciate the ladies. But we are not saying that appreciating is doing what Reverend told you not to do, isn't it? Lying to them and promising them anything that can come into your mind. It's about appreciating them as products of God that also need to be supported to succeed in life, isn't it? When you look at the ladies around you, as a man, you feel responsible for their success. Not your success in doing that which Reverend told you is what many of us are interested in, isn't it? When you take it upon yourself to say that I want to see these girls succeed, and of course, the girls also, you understand that these men are products which were not finished well, isn't it? So they are rough on the edges. You have a responsibility to ensure that you improve on their edges, isn't it? So it's okay to relate, but relate in a way that we support each other, we enhance each other, and we ensure that each one of us succeeds in the areas that I've told you about. Remember, you need to succeed where? Academically. What can you do to make sure this person succeeds academically? We need to succeed where? Socially. What can you do to make sure that this person succeeds socially? We need to succeed where? Spiritually. What is your contribution to the spiritual growth of the person that you are calling your friend? Okay? If you work on those three areas, then you really have succeeded in supporting each other to actually grow. And I think as you move out of here, my encouragement to you is that if you are friends with somebody, then you should be able to help them grow spiritually, academically, and socially. Once you do that to a person, then you can actually say that you've actually succeeded. And if you are a believer in the existence of God, and you know there's a God watching over you, then you know you have actually earned yourself some space somewhere, isn't it? Yes, I'm told up there are many rooms. But it doesn't mean that anybody is going to get there, isn't it? You must earn yourself one of those rooms. So work on it. I want to wish you well. as you know, I know next week we are having CATS. So those of you who are preparing for the same, all the best in your continuous assessment tests. Remember, you need to grow spiritually so that you don't be tempted to do that thing that people do when they are not prepared for the CATS, isn't it? I see Reverend has introduced another one called ARAT. Okay? Which is that one, Reverend? Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah. How many of you have done ARAT since the semester started? I suspect a few people here, they don't like rats from the way they are looking at me. But it's an interesting one. Can we introduce a rat? Rats. It can be introduced. Well, it doesn't have to be for, the reasons are not necessarily always to go into the grade, isn't it? By the way, we do a rat every time we start a class. It's only that you don't know. You see, when a lecturer asks you, what did we learn last week? Who can tell me this or the other? What is that? It's a random assessment. It's only that it doesn't go into the book. Not everything has to be captured in the end of the assessment forms that we normally give you. So as I said, those of you who are preparing for CATS next week, please prepare well. If you are planning a trip this weekend, my advice to you is let it. The trip will not go anywhere. The beauty with social things is that they never go far. So you can put them aside, focus on this CAT, make sure you prepare well, encourage your colleagues to do the same thing, talk to your colleagues so that they are not tempted. There's a devil which comes around exam time, and suddenly somebody appears in the lecture hall with a piece of paper which is contents. That's when you find that people have very good handwriting because they're able to pack the whole lecture in a small piece of paper. So don't get tempted on that, because if you do that, we as an institution, we have zero tolerance for cheating. Because again, we want to produce people of high integrity. So we normally say if you are found with those things, we send you back home. Go and tell your parents, you are not meant for the life that is ahead. Because if you can cheat now, then you will cheat in everything that you do in life. So we send you to go and restart life afresh. Maybe you will change your way of doing things, and then you'll be a better person. So please prepare well. We are here for you. If you need to talk to, if you want Reverend to come back again to talk to you about a few things, please tell us. Because as I said, it's all about you. The reason why we are here is to make sure you succeed. And for that reason, because we are here to make sure you succeed, we end up getting a salary, isn't it? So we are paid to make sure that you succeed. So we are happy when you succeed because our salary is what? It's also guaranteed, isn't it? But suppose you all fail, we'll have no job, isn't it? So that is why you should treat us as working for you. When you have issues or questions, please do not hesitate. I'm happy to see the chair of the student government is here. I hope you said hi to them. Sometimes some of these people may not know you, so every time you get a chance like this, you don't need to say, I'm so and say hi. Tell them you are the chairman of WESA. And the WESA government are strong. It's a body that ensures that issues, your rights, are actually taken care of. So that even if you don't come to me when you have issues, you can see him. He's equally powerful. He can bring things to our attention. If there's anything that is not going on right, we can actually work on it. Or you can also see the Reverend. She will, before you tell her your problems, she will actually do a prayer for you first. So by the time you are saying the problems already, they are 50% solved, isn't it? So there are many ways of dealing with issues. What we are telling you is, the things that the Reverend talked about. Don't contemplate using the tie to end your life, isn't it? Don't. We have a solution for everything. Don't you ever think that we don't have a solution? Hata kama ni mambo ya fees. The parents have said they are not paying fees. Okay? Don't say I'm going to show them that, yes, some of you think that when you commit suicide, now you have taught your parents a lesson. Of course, people will cry for a day or two down the line, and life continues, isn't it? So don't contemplate such things. Come forward, shout at the top of your voice that nobody is paying my fees or I don't have money for food. We will find a way of making sure that you have food, if that is the last thing. Of course, you don't go to Chava the whole night. Tomorrow you come back to my office and say, I have no money for food. When you are smelling of something that I know costs much more than food. You see, I'll need to manage that problem first, because I'll just give you water first. But as I said, still come forward, let us talk. Let's see how we can resolve issues. Thank you so much, Reverend. And once again, I'm really sorry that I didn't come to open, but I got a chance to close, isn't it? In one way or the other. So I know you have a few questions for the Reverend. I want you to ask him as many things as possible, the challenges that you feel. If you think there's something that he can help you resolve, that is fine. As I said, even when you have, okay, you may start a relationship and you realize it is not working, isn't it? We are not saying that you don't have to have a girlfriend. You can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. But when there are issues, you come forward together so that we understand where the issues. We might help you to build a better relationship. But as Reverend said, focus. Mambo ya antelope, Reverend, here we don't tell them to stop going after the antelope. Ours is an elephant, isn't it? Ours is focus on the elephant. Don't go for antelopes. Don't go for rabbits. Don't go for squirrels. Don't settle for rabbits. It is the elephant, and that is where your arrow is focused on. Nothing else. So not the first arrow, not the second one, not the third one. Any arrow that you release must target who? The elephant. Okay? Please remember that as you journey through your academic life. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
So please, everyone, come to the front. We take a photo with the DVC before he leaves. Wachira, you can tell us how to stand. DVC, thank you, DVC. Let us appreciate our DVC. And those who not our class and they have a few questions to the facilitator can take their seats. We take 1 or 2, 3 questions which are pressing. And I invite the chairman of UESA to greet us and to run the question and answer session.
Thank you very much, Reverend, and everybody who made it here. We are going to a question and answer session. I think we are well inducted, and we may have 1 or 2, 3 questions that we may seek for clarifications. No question is stupid, and no question is superior than the other. And your question may help me somewhere. I hope we don't fear, because we are comrades. So we are going to have questions. I don't know who is going to start, but we may not miss questions. You may write if a question you don't want to say it openly. I will come and pick that paper, but I prefer you stand and so that we know exactly who is asking the question. Yes, Any question? Tuulize maswali. Aha. Nani ako na swali? Comment? Okay, now compliment. Yes, one is here. So please ask. Come, just ask before the camera so that they get to know. We have some following us online for the purposes of...
Thank you very much. I'm Hudson Naibey. I'm in the School of Education and Social Science. Mine is to thank the Reverend Mbogu for giving us the information. We have learned a lot. For me, I've learned a lot. There's some things I didn't know, but I'm okay right now. Mine is to thank you and to welcome you again to come and talk to us. May God bless you as you go out. God bless you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a good compliment. Another one? Yes, Victor. Yes, come. So we have another one there.
So the three will do.
Christ the kingdom come. So if I say the Christ the kingdom come, you say in our hearts through Mother Mary. Christ the kingdom come in our hearts through Mother Mary. So my question is, how do you balance between social life and religious life? Sometimes I find it so difficult, so you can give us an explanation on that.
Thank you very much. That is a wonderful question because they expect you to behave like angels when you are a student. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Mr. Captain, I have a question. You have just spoken to those people who are about to start that thing, toxic relationships, drugs, that is alcoholism, smoking marijuana. So what about those people who are already in it? Those people who are already suffering that thing. They are trying to run like Murife, but they are not fast enough. Yeah, they are trying to learn, but they are not fast enough. What can you tell them? What tips can you give them? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there another question? Yes, come. This may be the last one before Reverend responds to the already asked questions.
Good afternoon. My name is Simon Kakai. I only have one question to the students' chair or the organization. That since I'm a third year so far, I would just like to ask you your plans on how to improve, on how are you planning to promote those students who are in this school and they are talented in various fields. And the entertainment sector, since I came in this school, although there was a breakdown of COVID, so masherehe kama Freshers Night hazijakuwa. So mimi ningependa kuuliza hiyo mipango iko namna gani? Naitwa Simon Kakai.
Yes, karibu Reverend for responses.
At least hiyo ya Freshers Night, hiyo sio yangu. Hiyo ni ya chairman. Social life, religious life. First thing, we need to know that religious life is part of social life because ni sisi tu wanadamu ambao tunaishi hiyo maisha ya dini. We are part of the society. And you made me remember the history of Jesus, where we are told that he grew in those dimensions, in love with God or he grew in stature, in wisdom, gaining favor with God and men. That means he grew socially, also he grew religiously, also he grew mentally in terms of intellect and knowledge. But now we need to ask ourselves as human beings, because we have this God who created us. And minus the God who created us, our life as human being is not complete, because it is he who made us and gave us the opportunity. So as much as we are growing socially, because there are things that will definitely happen, like the moment you are born, you find yourself, you grow, you are initiated, if you are a man. You remember the rites of passage when you are growing. Those are social phases that you go through. Umefika mahali, you become marriageable, you become all those things. They just happen almost automatically. But the other things about religious activities that you apply yourself into it. For example, if you want to study the Word of God, you create more time to read the Word of God. You want to become spiritually filled. For those of us who believe, for you to be religious enough, you must speak in tongues. It will not just come automatic. You have to create time and spend time with this God. But then the question is, will you just be a religious person who is so much talking in tongues with God, and then you lose touch with your fellow men? That's, I think, what you're trying to talk about. And that's why I said we are also a social being. We are a religious being, but we're also a social being. So it is good to grow our religiosity as a corporate team together. We grow our religiosity together. The moment you find you're spending a lot of time alone, matters of religion, then there's a question and there's a problem. Unless you want to become a monk. Hello? So you find always you're going to church to make prayers, you are just alone, maybe you and the pastor, there are no other people, there's something wrong with you. You need to grow together, you need to have people, and also you need to ensure that you have a schedule, like maybe a very practical way. You know, if you are going to church on Sunday, that's time for church. Then on Monday, Tuesday, you're going for lectures. Perhaps on a weekday, 1 hour, you can attend a religious program. Then you can also have a practical schedule in which you can do that. And of course, for that, you can also be assisted by the chaplaincy department. They can help you. But I know when you go back home, at times that becomes a challenge, because you may find yourself, you are going to church from Monday to Saturday, and then you even miss helping out the chores at home or attending other functions. I think I'm trying to help someone there. Don't be a fanatic and don't overdo things. Even Ecclesiastes says, don't be extreme. Don't be too, in fact, he said don't be over-righteous. Don't be too good, don't be over-righteous. Ensure there's a balance. And of course, you know that's also the philosophy of Aristotle, of trying to ensure that there's a middle, you don't on this and you are not on this extreme. The other question was about those who are already in drugs and those who are already addicted, their addictions. Now, whereas you know that to prevent is easier than curing a disease. We always say preventive is even better than cure. It's always easier not to begin taking than it is to stop. So those who have already in it, that is where you take a personal commitment and find yourself like a mentor or someone that you can open to. That is, if yesterday I was sharing with my cousin who is a priest, but he was a marijuana guy kabisa. Alikuwa nakunywa, and he was telling me, let me tell you, Reverend, I'm a preacher and I preach. But kuna wakati hata ukihubiria mtu aache mbangi na aache kukunywa pombe hawezi. Maana yeye mwenyewe haja resolve. So you need to come up to that realization and say, now I want to stop. Then you find help from somebody who is mature and become accountable. And you walk with this person one step by step. Now, from a medical perspective, I know there are even injections or drugs that are reintroduced into your body to ensure that you are no longer craving certain stimulants. From a medical perspective, there are even drugs that you are given. I remember one case I was handling, someone was going for a rehab because he was an addict drug, alcoholism na mbangi. Na ilikuwa inafika mahali hata anandungwa hizo vitu ili mwili yake iache kuna crave, he stop that craving. There's another one who actually the wife told me, nimeenda nimembaia ndawa, maana nimeambiwa akikunywa hii tu anatapika, akikunywa hii pombe, akikunywa hii ndawa, if kuna yani ndawa, once you swallow it, if you take an alcoholic drink, you just vomit. So because of that consistent vomiting, then the man said, no, enough is enough. Now he was taking it, he was actually putting it in his food. So I'm not telling you go and do that. But there are those other medical perspectives, but to start, come to the realization, I need to stop it, then find somebody. Because this one we cannot now speak at a group level. Get somebody, be open, and let somebody work with you. I also dealt with someone who was addicted in pornography, one of the youths. And he opened up to me, and we started sharing. And such that every time tukipatana, you would tell me, now check my gadget, ona simu yangu. Before tulikuwa tunajua kuna zile za actually you can even get somebody na unamtrack to. Every time akiingia online, there are those apps. Unaweza ona ni nini ana watch. This helps this person asiende overboard. But you need somebody who you are accountable to, and then you are free. And don't wait until you have now those kind of things we are talking about, because kuna watu wanajiwa because sasa kimeumana, and you feel like now it's like you are irreparable, your life has been wasted, you've become nothing, and now you just want to end your life. Find somebody. Yes, it is possible, it is doable, and I have seen people, and I have worked with people, even in the military. I have seen guys, of course, nimesema nimeenda military. Now I know there are those here wanataka kukua KDF. Labda hata umejaribu kuingia KDF lakini imekosekana ama don't give up. You can still go there as a specialist cadet. After you have trained your degree, now there are two intakes. Actually, you can immediately finish and then you apply as a graduate cadet without experience. You go and you train for 12 months and then you become a general service officer, and also you can be given some technical assignments, like now the specialists, our case. But you can also finish until you become your degree, you do 2 years, and then you enter as a specialist and you train for only 6 months. And then you become a specialist officer. But I'm saying even among the military, there are people who are getting themselves into drugs, especially when we're in the close ops. Watu wameenda huko kwa kichaka, hakuna mwanamke hapo, ni wanaume nyinyi peke yenu. Sometimes unapata time unaenda out, and then you find yourself you are addicted first to matters of pornography, watch tu vitu. But if you open up, somebody can really help you, and then you are able to come out of that. So I think umesaidika kiasi. The secret hapa tu ni kutokea, kujiongea, kujisema, and find somebody mature who will not broadcast your issues. Somebody will say in confidentiality, as we anasema, hata ukiona yule fresha, hata ukiona dhandia, huyo ameisha tu na mandawa, hata hawezi jisaidia. Get somebody who can treat your case in confidentiality. Ama kuna mwingine angetaka kuongeza about that, because I know those are issues. I know time is not really on our side, because najua wengine mko na schedule, na ndio naona labda hata mnakosa kusema mambo mengi. But let me stop there on that question.
Thank you very much. Yani hamna swali kabisa. Hata mwezi uliza vile how to deal with heartbreaks. It is common. It is also a common disease here. But somebody, I'm a politician, my political father once told me that siasa weki kwa roho. And after doing my research, I also came to realize that mapenzi pia ifai kuwekwa kwa roho. Kwa roho, weka kwa lungs. So that is also an advice. Thank you very much, Reverend, for the wonderful responses. And I think we are here to induct others. We were represented here, we were representing others here. So immediately you get out of this house, get 5 or 4, put them down, tell them exactly what was said here. Tell them they missed a very wonderful session and you were there for them. There are some questions here that people are asking. One is asking, is there food in my inbox? But the US-related issues, I will give, you can come to my office for it. This session was specifically for empowerment. So we may not convert it to other issues, but there is Freshers' Night. There is Freshers' Night. I may not say when, but there is. Otherwise, Reverend, I don't know, I can give a vote of thanks. Okay, thank you very much. So we are going to conclude by a vote of thanks. And let me start on behalf of the entire University of Embu and the organizers of this event. I'm here to sincerely thank first and foremost our Almighty God for enabling us to reach this far and for making this event a resounding success. And secondly, I want to thank our Reverend for making and out of his busy schedules, finding time for us, the youths. It was a wonderful occasion, in fact, and educative event. Sorry, I joined late, but was following online, and it was a wonderful, and the representations here were truly educative. To the committee that organized this, led by our Reverend Dr. Mary Nkari, we want to sincerely, as students specifically, say thank you for we have issues, and if you don't come in for us, we may miss ways. Thank you very much. To our DVC in his absentia, we are also grateful for he graced the occasion, though he didn't start with us, but he finished with us the way he said. To US officials who are here, and church leaders, and class reps, and everybody who found time to be with us in this event, the organizers, those who are taking videos, photos,